Samsung Galaxy Fit 3, an upgraded version of the second version of the band. And if the second version more looked like a Mi Band from Xiaomi, then the third version of the band from Samsung more looked like the Pro version of the same band, which I have done the review. The link will be right over there. So is it worth upgrading, or the functions and everything is pretty much the same but in a new body? So the content of the box is pretty similar to the band too. It is the smart band, it is a charging cable, and that's pretty much it. If we're talking about the charging cable, unfortunately it is magnetic on the one side, which is okay, but Type-C on the other side, which limits you to using only chargers with Type-C, and you cannot connect it to your PC because over there it's more popular USB Type-A. But still, talking about the user experience of this watch. The user experience is, in my opinion, is much better than the same one from Xiaomi. And the answer to that is 60 FPS on the band. So if the smart band from Xiaomi had only 30 FPS in menus and it was pretty okay, you can get used to it, then the band from Samsung right now has 60 FPS. They have pretty similar form factor, as you can see. It is a pretty similar to one another. The only difference while band from Xiaomi didn't have any button at all. As you can see, the form factor is pretty much the same, the screen is pretty much the same as well. They both have a quick release button to change your straps, not that it would be necessary, but still it's a nice option to have. But talking about the functions of this band right now has sleep tracking, it has activity tracking, it has barometer, and also it has fall detection. Also talking about the functions, it's important to mention that this band have a camera control. All of the functions can be configured in the Gear app from Samsung. It has also integration with Samsung Health, so in case you are using some devices from the same Xiaomi or from Google, as I do, for example the Google Nest Hub, which tracks your sleep, in that case it would not be a good option because it doesn't have any integration with Google Home or the same Garmin Connect or the same Zepp Live from Xiaomi. But still, talking about the screen and pluses of this band hosts a lot of watch faces. You can say the pretty much similar thing about the band from Xiaomi, but in that case the watch faces were pretty ugly and not all of the watch faces had always on display. This is not the case with Samsung because every single one of the bands has always on display and the band amount is simply amazing. As you can see right now, the bands are for all types and sizes and for all types of you would like to have, but the only bummer here is that the band from Xiaomi doesn't have an option of choosing widgets on your home screen. I mean by that if you have your watch face with the widgets for, let's say, step count, calories and battery, but you would like to have their, let's say, weather, then you cannot do that unless it is a specific watch face which has such option. So that's pretty much a bummer. Now going to the list of what is not here and what is on the same Xiaomi Band Pro. Over there in the Mi Band version, the Mi Band Pro version, you had a full stack GPS and GLONASS and Beidou for your tracking of your activities. The band from Samsung doesn't have that option because it is being positioned more than a companion to your phone and not as a separate device as, let's say, Garmin watches. So in that case, I mean that you can still track your activities, it will still use GPS for your activities, but the GPS info will be getting only from your as a companion watch to your smartphone and not the other way around. Talking about the battery is announced to be 13 to 14 days on one single charge, but as my experience has shown, it only gets 2 full days and you still leave at about 10% at the end of the second day, so you need to charge your band for the sleep tracking the same, because the functions was measured only with everything turned off, with always on display turned off, and with the heart rate measurements only when it's necessary and when toggled on manually. So in my case, when everything is turned on, you can have only 2 days. And still, very important information for you to have before you buy this watch is that this watch consumes a lot of your phone's battery. As you can see right now on the screenshot, it has used 11% of all of the battery for my phone. Fortunately, the A55, the phone which I have, hosts 5000 mAh battery, so it still got me through the day, but still you can notice that your battery will drain much faster compared to the same Garmin watch, which hosts and which records all of the information on the watch and then synchronizes to the application manually. The band from Samsung, it has always connection to your phone and it gets information to your phone and from your phone all of the time. Comparing the third edition of the bracelet to the second one, you can tell that it's a lot of difference. The first and most important difference is the display. Now it is 1.6 AMOLED display compared to only something around 1.2 or 1.1 inches of the display in the Fitness Band, the second version, Samsung Fit 2. Also, as I mentioned before, it has a little bit of a new functions, and right now you can use your band in much more variety of cases. So the question is the Fitness Band 3 worth upgrading from the Fitness Band 2? In my opinion, if you would like to have a bigger display and a much more sleeker design with better quality materials, because this one band has aluminum body on the sides, so then you can buy it and you should buy it. But the thing here is that the price has been updated to 69 euros for this band, and in my opinion this price is a little bit too much for this type of device. But fortunately Samsung offers this device for free when you're buying the same Samsung A55 which I have bought, and in that case you get it for free, and for free it is simply great device. But if you're talking about buying it separately, I would recommend you to wait for the discounts on this band, and if you will get it for $45 to $55, I suppose that's a pretty good price for this band. And of course, last but not least, the durability of this band. The durability is pretty much okay because it offers you IP68 dust and water resistance with 5 atmospheres durability for this watch. So I suppose that you can swim in this watch, but I wouldn't recommend that because still IP68 and 5 atmospheres is not the best option to have in order for swimming, and also during swimming you won't be able to monitor your HR or your heart rate, and I suppose that that's the only option you would need to use this watch, because otherwise this watch in water is pretty much useless. So summarizing everything, this band is pretty good, but still it is companion to your phone and not a separate device which you can use separately from your phone. It still has no GPS compared to the same Mi Band. It has no Wi-Fi, and I suppose you don't need Wi-Fi here because you cannot download any type of music, but you can control your music from your phone, but you cannot download any music offline, as the same for example Garmin watch, where you can download Spotify songs directly on your watch. Also, it doesn't have a third-party applications that can be installed on your watch. I suppose that's not a bummer, because this band is being positioned as all you need to have in order to track your fitness activities, and with this function it works very great. But if you would like to have something more of a smartwatch, I suppose that you need to look for the smartwatches from the same Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 or Watch 6, which will offer you much better functions. But if all you need to have is to have notifications on your band, all you need to have is to track your workouts, not precisely, but something around your heart rate or how much calories you have burned, then in that case I suppose this band is right for you.